Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. Isis, All That Glitters. The Goddess Next Door takes on a bikini-clad bank robber in this action-packed all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, All That Glitters in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Last week, Congress approved $13 billion to help the people of Ukraine. And they also approved $200 million for weapons, and your former President Barack Obama posted on his official website a donation page to help the people of Ukraine. Now, these actions to help the people of Ukraine are somewhat of an expression of contempt to your black voter. Now, your black voters came out in 2020 to vote for your Joe Biden and the left after they were told that the evil Donald Trump was going to destroy democracy here in America. But the great irony is that the democracy here in America does not really seem to appreciate the black voter, because after the black voter took his and her booties to the poll to vote for your Joe Biden and the left to give them the House and the Senate and a majority as related to being able to get legislation passed, your Joe Biden in November of 2020 after the election expressed his contempt to black leaders and the Congressional Black Caucus by saying he couldn't do anything for all of those foundational black American voters who are citizens of this country, by telling them he couldn't do anything for them. And after he told foundational black American voters who took their booties to the poll to vote for him, to give him not only the presidency, but the House and the Senate, he then went out here and had money he could easily give to your Afghans. He had money he could easily give to your Mexicans in the form of a proposed six-figure settlement for those who were locked up in your ICE centers. And now he's got $14 billion plus $200 million for Ukrainians. All of these non-citizens can get tangibles, but American black citizens can't get any sort of tangible in exchange for their vote. And that is an insult to every black American citizen who is foundational and comes from the descendants of slaves, because you can't get any tangibles from a government that you are a citizen of, but people who are not citizens can go out here and get tangibles to go out here and restart their lives like those Afghans, or they can get six-figure settlements like these Mexicans, and or they can go out here and get war resources allocated to them like Ukrainians. And that is a major insult to all of those black voters who went out here in November of 2020 after being told by your Joe Biden and his leftist supporters that without that black vote, we would be having to deal with the evil orange man for another 4 years. But it seems like those on the left don't see how they're just basically showing how evil they are by disrespecting foundational black Americans by not providing any sort of tangible in exchange for the black vote, and showing the world how little they value the black vote, and showing us how little they regard foundational black Americans, citizens of this country. You don't have anything for foundational black Americans, but you've got plenty of money for Ukrainians, you've got plenty of money for Afghans, you've got plenty of money for Mexicans, people who are non-citizens, and in the case of some of the Mexicans and South Americans, these are people who basically broke past your border and trespassed into your country, showed no respect for your laws, but you've got money for those people. But law-abiding black American citizens, they can't get any sort of money to improve the quality of life in our communities. And even worse, you give the money to the foreigner, and the foreigner takes the money and comes to the black community and opens businesses in the black community. And as they open up businesses in the black community, they take black dollars out of the black community and build wealth in their community that they take to their country. That is an insult to all of those black voters out here who were tricked into voting for your Joe Biden and the left, who were again told that the evil orange man was going to destroy America, but all black Americans got was a vote for someone who showed how little respect they had for black America. Because to quickly be able to approve all of this money for all of these groups and not give a single foundational black American a single dollar is an insult to all of those foundational black Americans who you ran out here and begged to vote for you. If you were so desperate for the black vote, you would think you would want some tangibles in exchange for it. But no, all they wanted to do was go back to the same system of codependency where they could go out here and abuse the black vote by taking the black vote for granted and not giving any sort of tangible in exchange for that black vote. And your Joe Biden, basically, he sits there and after disrespecting black voters for over a year, continues to express his contempt by doing things like offering up a cheesy John Lewis voting rights bill, an empty symbolic gesture, and off nominating a divested, swirling black female Supreme Court justice, and showing us, again, no respect whatsoever. Even worse, he goes out here and shortchanges programs like HBCUs, not trying to give black people any tangibles at all. But if it wasn't for those black voters going out here, he wouldn't have cities, he wouldn't have states, and he would not have gotten the presidency in most of the country. No, he wouldn't have gotten it without the black vote. But the whole thing is he continues to express contempt for the black voter, and this whole package being approved for the Ukraine is another expression of that contempt for the black voter. The black voter can't get any tangibles from a government that was saying it was so desperate to get rid of an orange man, and they so desperate to get rid of an orange man, but they could not express any sort of gratitude for that black voter for going out here and participating in a government that seems to not respect the black voter at all. And when I look at your Barack Obama, what really is annoying to me, he's going to put up a page talking about helping the people of Ukraine, but over the last 8 years of his presidency, he had no efforts to try to help foundational black Americans, and even though he was the first black president. Your first black president put everybody in front of black people, like Hispanics, members of the alphabet community, white women, but he only had nothing but speeches and contempt to express to black Americans, and both your Obama and Joe Biden expressed their contempt by talking down to black people, showing no regard for black people, and disrespecting black people. And that's a real insult to foundational black Americans. Again, you went out here in record numbers as related to so-called 81 million votes, and you can't get a single dollar from your government, which you put in office. You gave your Joe Biden a majority in the House and the Senate, and you think he would be pushing legislation quickly through, but instead of pushing legislation quickly through to help black communities and build black-owned businesses, no, he goes out here and wants to build everybody else's community but yours. And again, that is disrespect to the black voter, and that's why the black voter is finally starting to wake up and realizing that it's just time to stop being taken for granted. And if your Joe Biden wants to go out here and get votes, he needs to go to those Afghans, he needs to go to those Mexicans, he needs to go to those Ukrainians. No, go to them and get your vote from those non-citizens and stop taking our votes for granted. That's what we saw in 2021 in the case of your Terry McAuliffe, who thought he was going to coast into the Virginia governor's house, and many black voters showed their power by staying home, and we need to see more black voters stay home in 2022, because if your Joe Biden and the left, or even those on the right, don't want to support providing tangibles to the black voter in exchange for their vote, or try to support a black agenda, not these cons run by these black bootlicks, but a true to the game black agenda from we the people, then they don't deserve a black vote. And these expressions of contempt, they need to be pushed back on, because black people need to take their respect, and we need to take our respect, because it's a real insult when people who are not citizens of this country can go get money from the U.S. government, but U.S. citizens who have been struggling because of the pandemic and can only get a lousy $3,000 when they were told that they had to give up their jobs, give up their businesses, give up their lives. Black people were told that they had to do all of these things, but all you can get is $3,000. But these other non-citizens, they can get six figures in the terms of the Mexicans. They can get low-cost loans in the terms of Afghans or government grants and things like that. Or they can get $14 billion to go fight a war, plus $200 million for weapons. You can get everything for every other non-citizen, but black Americans can't get a single thing for just basic quality of life. We can't seem to get good schools. We can't seem to get jobs. We can't seem to get our economy. And our economy was impeded by your racists and your white supremacists on both the left and the right. And we cannot get any sort of restitution in terms of reparations. And we can't get any sort of resources as related to tax dollars that we spend. We pay. Black Americans, we get the short end of the stick, but when it's election time, they want us to take our booties to the poll, where we get shit on by the same politicians who tell us to keep voting down a blue ticket. And it's a real insult to all of those black people out here, and this is the latest insult to black people, and it's something that black people really need to start pushing back on like they did in 2021, and we really need to see more pushback in 2022, because the black vote needs to stop taking itself for granted and to start demanding tangibles in exchange for votes, because our vote has value, and if we are citizens of this country, we need to be put as a priority over those who live outside of this country. Now, if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the link in the description box. And if you want to pick up some of my positive black fiction on the SJS Direct imprint, you can find those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.
Now available in paperback and coming to Kindle Unlimited, John Haynes, Dark Succubus. The man who rules the world is tempted by a sultry succubus in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Dark Succubus in paperback or pre-order on Kindle Unlimited today.